The world has seen plenty of beefs and controversies, but nothing prepared fans for what just went down between Jim Jones and Camron. It all started when a leaked video of Chrissy hit the internet, spreading like wildfire across social media. Within hours, the footage went viral, sparking debates, memes, and non-stop speculation. But then came the real explosion, Jim Jones snapping and turning his fury directly on Camron. These two Harlem legends, once brothers in arms under the Dipset banner, are now facing one of their ugliest moments yet. Was this just a misunderstanding fueled by emotions, or has the leaked video exposed a truth that's been simmering beneath the surface for years? Tonight, we dive deep into the shocking events, the history behind Jim and Cam's complicated relationship, and what this viral storm means for Chrissy, Dipset, and hip-hop culture as a whole. The hip-hop world has always been filled with drama. From lyrical battles to public fallouts, the culture thrives on energy, authenticity, and sometimes chaos. But when the names Jim Jones, Camron, and Chrissy collide in the same headline, you know the situation is about to explode. The story began when a mysterious video of Chrissy surfaced online. Nobody knows who leaked it, but within minutes it was everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and even mainstream gossip sites. The footage, while unclear in context, was suggestive enough to spark a wildfire of speculation. Fans questioned what it meant for her relationship with Jim Jones, while others wondered if it had anything to do with Dipset politics. Jim Jones, known for his fiery personality and Harlem pride, didn't take the situation lightly. Reports say he was furious, and rather than focusing on the leak itself, his anger turned toward someone unexpected. His longtime brother-turned-rival, Camron. The history of Jim and Cam. To understand why Jim's anger was directed at Camron, we need to rewind to the history of Dipset. Back in the early 2000s, Dipset, the Diplomats, wasn't just a rap group, it was a movement. Camron was the founder and frontman, while Jim Jones served as one of his closest allies. Alongside Juelz Santana and Freaky Zeke, they created an empire of music, fashion, and street credibility that defined Harlem sound. But like many hip-hop brotherhoods, cracks began to show over time. Creative differences, egos, and business disputes led to friction. Cam and Jim had their share of public disagreements, sometimes even throwing subliminal shots at each other in interviews and songs. Still, fans always hoped their bond was too strong to fully break. So when Jim lashed out at Cam after the leaked Chrissy video, many people immediately assumed old wounds had reopened. Was Jim suggesting Cam had something to do with the leak? Or was his attack more symbolic? A way of expressing years of bottled-up frustration? The internet reacts. As soon as Jim's attack made headlines, social media turned into a war zone. Some fans sided with Jim, saying that in moments of crisis, emotions run high and old rivalries resurface. Others defended Cam, insisting he had no reason to involve himself in Chrissy's controversy. One viral tweet read, "Jim blaming Cam is wild. This man been out the loop with Chrissy for years. Why would he care now?" Another wrote, "Real friends don't leak videos, but real enemies might. Jim knows something we don't." The division among fans wasn't surprising. Dipset has always had a cult following, and the idea of two Harlem legends at odds over something so personal hit harder than any rap beef. The emotional side of Jim Jones. It's no secret that Jim Jones wears his heart on his sleeve. Over the years, fans have seen him cry during interviews, show vulnerability about his family, and defend Chrissy through countless ups and downs. His loyalty is part of his identity. So when a video involving Chrissy went viral, it wasn't just gossip for Jim. It was personal, a direct hit to his pride and his family. And in situations like that, Jim's instinct has always been to fight, whether verbally or physically. Attacking Camron may not have been the most logical move, but it was an emotional one, fueled by years of complicated history between the two. Camron's silence. Interestingly, Camron didn't immediately respond to Jim's accusations. While fans flooded his social media with comments demanding answers, Cam stayed quiet. For a man who has built his career on clever punchlines and sharp comebacks, the silence was deafening. Some fans interpreted this as guilt, while others said it was wisdom, refusing to add fuel to an already messy fire. Cam has always been strategic, and his ability to control a narrative without saying much is part of his brand. Still, the longer he stayed silent, the more people speculated about his role in the situation. Chrissy in the middle. Of course, the person most affected by all of this was Chrissy. For over a decade, she has been at Jim's side, supporting him through career highs and lows. Their relationship has played out on television, on gossip blogs, and in music videos. To suddenly find herself at the center of a viral scandal was not just humiliating, it was emotionally exhausting. Yet, just like Cam, Chrissy remained mostly silent. No interviews, no statements, just silence. Fans were left to wonder if she was planning her own reveal, or if she was simply trying to avoid giving the story more oxygen. The streets of Harlem talk. Beyond social media, the streets of Harlem had their own take. In barbershops, corner stores, and local hangouts, the debate raged on. Some said Jim's anger was justified. After all, brotherhood comes with responsibility. And if Jim suspected Cam had even a hand in the leak, the betrayal was unforgivable. Others said Jim was letting his emotions cloud his judgment, attacking an old friend when he should have been focusing on protecting Chrissy. Either way, the conversation wasn't just about a leaked video anymore. It was about loyalty, betrayal, and how fragile bonds can be, even when they're built over decades. The bigger picture. What makes this story so powerful isn't just the scandal itself, but what it represents. Jim and Cam's relationship has always symbolized Harlem pride, resilience, and the strength of brotherhood in hip-hop. To see that bond crack and possibly break over something involving Chrissy was heartbreaking for fans who grew up idolizing Dipset. It also highlighted a larger issue: how quickly personal matters can spiral out of control in the digital age. A single leak can destroy reputations, friendships, and entire legacies within hours. For Jim, this wasn't just about a video. It was about protecting his name, his partner, and his pride. For Cam, the silence was perhaps his way of avoiding unnecessary chaos. But for fans, it was proof that no matter how strong a brotherhood appears, it can all fall apart when tested by The storm didn't end with Jim Jones lashing out at Camron. In fact, that was only the beginning. As the leaked Chrissy video continued to dominate headlines, the fallout grew louder, messier, and far more complicated than anyone could have imagined. Camron finally responds. After days of silence, Camron finally broke his silence. But instead of issuing a fiery clapback, he chose sarcasm and wit, the very tools that made him a Harlem legend. In a cryptic Instagram post, Cam uploaded an old photo of himself and Jim from Dipset's glory days, captioning it, "Brothers fight, brothers argue, but clowns blame." The message was subtle but sharp. He didn't directly deny involvement in the leaked Chrissy video, but he implied that Jim's accusations were baseless and emotional. For Cam, this wasn't about guilt or innocence. It was about maintaining his cool while letting fans connect the dots themselves. The media frenzy. The second Cam posted his response, media outlets jumped all over it. Headlines screamed, "Camron shades Jim Jones amid Chrissy drama," and "Dipset beef reignited after Chrissy leak." Talk shows debated the post, with some hosts saying Cam was being dismissive and others praising him for not lowering himself to Jim's level. Meanwhile, YouTubers and bloggers dissected the caption line by line, analyzing every word as if it held the key to the mystery. Suddenly, the conversation shifted. It was no longer just about Chrissy's leaked video. It was about the collapse of one of hip-hop's most iconic brotherhoods, Chrissy's quiet strength. Through all of this, Chrissy remained remarkably quiet. No interviews, no social media rants, no cryptic posts, just silence. But sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Fans began to see Chrissy's quiet approach as strength. For years, people have criticized her for being too loyal to Jim, for sacrificing her own spotlight in order to stand behind him. But in this moment, her silence looked like dignity. While the men argued and pointed fingers, Chrissy refused to be dragged into the mud. Still, the pressure was on. Everyone wanted her side of the story. Would she eventually sit down for an interview? Would she go on Love and Hip Hop and drop her truth? Or would she let the chaos play out without ever confirming or denying anything? Fan theories spiral. As days turned into weeks, fan theories became wilder. Theory 1. Cam's revenge. Some believed Cam had a hand in the leak as a way of getting back at Jim after years of tension. If true, it would be one of the most brutal betrayals in hip-hop history. Theory 2. Industry setup. Others speculated that neither Cam nor Jim was responsible. Instead, they claimed the leak was orchestrated by outsiders in the industry, bloggers, labels, or even rivals who wanted to stir up drama within Dipset for clout. Theory 3. Publicity stunt. A third group argued that the whole thing was staged. Given Dipset's history with reality TV and larger-than-life theatrics, some believe this was all a setup for a new project. Maybe a documentary, maybe a reunion album, but something designed to put Jim, Cam, and Chrissy back in the spotlight. Whatever the theory, the mystery kept fans locked in. The lack of clarity only made the situation more addictive. The brotherhood question. At the heart of this drama lies one question. Can Jim and Cam ever repair their bond? These two men built an empire together. They put Harlem on the map in ways few others could. For fans, Dipset wasn't just music, it was an identity. The pink fur coats, the slang, the swagger, it was a lifestyle. But now, with accusations flying and old wounds reopened, their brotherhood looked broken beyond repair. Some fans held on to hope, pointing out that Dipset had reunited before after years of beef. Others were less optimistic, saying the personal nature of this scandal made it impossible to move past. The streets weigh in. Once again, Harlem streets had their own perspective. Many older fans who grew up with Dipset felt heartbroken. To them, Jim and Cam weren't just rappers, they were neighborhood heroes. Watching them tear each other apart felt like watching family collapse. Younger fans, meanwhile, treated the drama like entertainment. Memes, TikToks, and parodies flooded the internet. While older heads saw tragedy, younger ones saw content. This generational split highlighted a deeper truth. Hip-hop drama is no longer confined to music. The social media fuel, and once it goes viral, it takes on a life of its own. The bigger impact on Dipset. The scandal didn't just affect Jim and Cam personally. It shook the entire Dipset brand. Juelz Santana and Freaky Zeke found themselves dragged into the conversation, with fans demanding to know where they stood. Was Dipset officially done? Or could they rally together once more? For a group that had already weathered countless breakups and makeups, this new controversy felt like a final nail in the coffin. But in hip-hop, nothing is ever truly final. If the money is right and the timing is perfect, even the deepest wounds can sometimes heal. Lessons from the scandal. This entire saga revealed some hard truths about fame, loyalty, and relationships in the digital age. Nothing stays private. In today's world, leaks happen fast, and once something hits the internet, it's impossible to erase. Emotions rule. Jim's attack on Cam wasn't about logic. It was about emotion. In moments of pain, even the strongest bonds can fracture. Silence can be power. Chrissy and Cam both used silence strategically, showing that sometimes saying less says more. The fans decide the narrative. In the end, it's the fans who shape the story. Their tweets, memes, and theories became just as important as the facts. Looking ahead. As of now, the story is still unfolding. Jim hasn't backed down, Cam hasn't fully explained himself, and Chrissy hasn't spoken at all. The uncertainty keeps the fire burning. Will Jim and Cam ever reconcile? Or is this truly the end of their brotherhood? Will Chrissy reveal her side of the story, clearing the air once and for all? And most importantly, what does this mean for Dipset's legacy? One thing is certain. This scandal will go down in hip-hop history. Years from now, people will look back and remember not just the music, but the drama, the betrayal, and the way a single leaked video nearly tore Harlem's most iconic crew apart. And that's the full breakdown of this shocking situation. From Chrissy's leaked video, to Jim Jones's furious reaction, to Camron's subtle response. But the real question now is, where do you stand? Do you believe Jim had every right to lash out? Or do you think he let emotions cloud his judgment? Was Camron truly involved? Or is this just years of Dipset tension boiling over? And what about Chrissy? Will her silence remain her power? Or will she eventually come forward with the truth? I want to hear your thoughts, your theories, and your takes in the comments below. Your voice matters in this conversation, and I'll be reading what you have to say. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more exclusive updates on hip-hop's biggest stories, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because trust me, this story isn't over yet.